Okay. So let's resume. Fifth possibility was that sometimes we can make a guess from the surrounding text. From the surrounding text, we can get an idea that what possible meaning could be of that word. Let me show you an example. Let's say, can you read this? Tannins are often present in drinks and medicine because they are soluble in water. Now, let's say you don't know what is soluble. Let's say, just assume that you don't know what is soluble, but
Yes, sir.
you can guess, you can make a guess about the meaning of soluble after reading next line. And how?
Okay.
Because they are soluble in water, but how much they dissolve depends on factors like temperature and so on. So it means soluble is something like dissolving.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes, sir.
So fifth possibility is that if you find a difficult word, you might be able to make some guess by reading next few lines or by relating it to the surrounding text. You can, have some
Okay.
idea what its meaning could be. Clear?
Yes, sir.
So summing up this all discussion, if you find a difficult word, please don't get scared. Okay? Many
Yes, sir.
times I have seen people. Now this is a tip that you have to practice. This is a technique that I'm going to tell you. Some people, how they start reading, just see me and I'm copying someone. Okay? Health tea, sid 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 Covens. Oh my god, don't waste your time on pronunciation of names. I know this is a name,
Okay.
so don't waste your time. If you want to say Sid and you don't want to pronounce it, Sid, this person, okay, looks at the head properties of a favorite drink. Similarly, some people, whenever they find a difficult word, they start focusing on it. You have probably heard of tannins. Tannins. What is tannin? If you, and they will again, start from the first sentence and they will waste their time. If you are a tea
Yes, sir.
drinker, you have probably heard of tannins. Tannin, what is tannin? They will not move forward and they will keep wasting their time here. So please don't do that. Whenever you find a difficult word, don't be scared of it. Don't waste your time on its pronunciation. Don't waste your time on understanding, without looking the next text. So
Yes,
continue with that. Why? Because either you will not require that difficult word at all in any of the questions. Number two,
yes,
if you require it, you may be provided with some, explanation in the footnote or just after that word or somewhere around, one or two sentences after or before that word. Clear?
yes, sir. Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Okay. Now let's have a look. That will be our last exercise for today. Next exercise, actually next two exercises. In those two
Okay, sir.
exercises, I will tell you how to make good calculated guesses without knowing the meaning, how to make good calculated guesses, right?
Yes, sir. Right, sir.
Mm.
Okay, now here are four headings in front of you on the left side, A, B, C, and D. These are four
Yes,
headings. And in front of these four headings, there are five subheadings.
yes, sir.
There's one extra subheading, right? One extra subheading.
Yes,
What we have to do, we have to match these headings with related subheading.
yes, sir.
Okay? These
Okay, sir.
headings with related subheading. Shakil, I guess you have done this exercise in my free
Yes,
lesson
sir.
in Ramadan, right?
Yes, sir.
Right. So now you will keep quiet. You will be the last one to answer.
Okay.
Now let's read this thing. Can you read it, Abdurrahman? First heading.
Okay. Alpine glacial lakes.
Okay, fine. Whatever it is. Now, which subheading can relate to this? Read number one.
Okay. Researchers disagree about whether social media is making us more isolated. Mm,
Anything related to it?
okay. No.
No. Okay, Amjad. Number two. Please read number two.
Clean dream.
Climatologists,
Oh, sorry. Number two,
cli-
climatologists are assessing the impact of climate change on high altitude bodies of water.
Anything related to A?
Water and lakes.
Yeah. Now, that is the thing that you need to do. You don't know, let's say you don't know anything, but at least you know one word, lakes, and one word here, water.
okay.
So if nothing else, we will read other options as well. If nothing else can be related to A, then we can very easily relate A with 2. Now, this is a calculated guess.
Okay.
Okay, this is using some clues, some ideas. But let's see. Read number 3, Abdurrahman.
James clarifies two current trends that are expanding the role of science in high schools.
So nothing related to that.
Yeah.
Shakil, number
Uh,
4. Please read it.
Yes, sir. Sir, Alan Parker outlines a recent breakthrough in technology.
No link again.
No, sir.
Number 5, Amjad.
In the 19th century, a schoolgirl and a former traveling salesman helped turn the humble soap bar into an $18 billion industry.
Industry, right. So again, no link. So now, with this one word clue or hint, we can, find the answer. Actually, A
Yes, sir.
relates to 2. Now, what are
Yes, sir.
glaciers? Do you know what are glaciers?
uh,
The
should be
mountain
nine or
tops covered with snow. Top,
Oh,
huge
yes, sir.
glaciers. The mountain tops covered with snow, right?
Yes, sir.
So now glaciers means, even if you don't know, I'm just explaining it. Even if you don't know glaciers, you at least know water and lakes. But if you know glaciers, then it means high altitude, mountain tops, height.
Yes, sir.
Clear? Okay, now let's
yes.
move to the next one. Clean dream. Now this is very interesting. We are done with number
Clean.
2. Okay, so
Yes.
I'm just crossing it out. Now clean dream. Okay, let me finish this. This is done, and number 2 is done. Now read number 1 again and try to match it with number 2, with B. Researchers
Clean dream.
disagree about whether social media is making us more isolated. Any link?
Yeah. No.
No.
No,
Okay.
sir.
James Clegg identified 2 current trends that are expanding the role of science in high schools.
No.
Any link?
Now,
No, sir.
No. Alan Parker outlines a recent breakthrough in the technology. Any link?
Maybe. Yeah.
Maybe. Okay. What is the
Yes,
link?
sir.
breakthrough and dream.
Okay. Breakthrough and dream. Right. Let's say. For the time being, let's say we call it breakthrough and dream. Okay. Number 5. In the 19th century, a schoolgirl
Sugar.
and a formal traveling salesman helped turn the humble soap bar into an 18 billion industry. Any link?
No.
Now,
Okay.
No,
No.
sir.
Okay. Now, if I say this is clean, and if I say this is soap bar,
Yes, sir.
is there any link? Now?
yes,
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Okay. Now, what could be the dream then?
Google and different traffic
A
management.
schoolgirl turning a soap bar in the 19th century, a soap bar, into this much big industry. Isn't it a dream? It is just like a breakthrough again,
Yes, sir.
Right.
right? So this is clean dream.
Right,
Like
sir.
a schoolgirl with a traveling salesman, just a salesman, right? They both have turned this soap bar into an 18 billion. Now, one very important tip, very important tip.
Yes, sir.
Abdurrahman, you might not be knowing it tomorrow. Actually, not tomorrow. You can say just after less than 1 hour, we will have our Independence Day, right? 14th August is our Independence Day. So I'm narrating here some historical facts, about Pakistan and India's history. In fact, about this region's history, subcontinent's history. I'm narrating these facts.
Okay.
Please focus on these dates that I'm going to mention,
Okay, sir.
because these Pakistani students already knew it. I know, because they have been studying this thing from their childhood time.
Yes, sir.
Actually, I want to make a point after this. I want to clarify a point after this, and that is very important point.
Okay.
Now, okay, let's say I'm reading a passage, and in that passage it is written that in 1857, a war was fought between locals and Britishers. You can write it down. 1857, a war was fought between locals and the Britishers.
Okay.
Okay. Then in 1906, a political party named as Muslim League, All India Muslim League, was formed.
Okay.
Then in 1944, World War ended.
Okay.
In 1947,
Mm.
India and Pakistan were formed, and they got independence from the Britishers.
Okay.
Now, here is my question to all of you.
Okay.
Shakil, you will keep quiet if you already know it.
Yes, sir.
Which major event took place near or around the mid 19th century? Which major event took place around mid 19th century?
World War. It ended.
Okay, then why not Pakistan and India independence? It is
Also,
more.
you asked about the major event in the world.
Yeah, major. Then
World War.
obviously
World War.
no,
World
not.
War is.
Yeah.
I think
Okay.
is
Okay. Just ignore word. World War, right?
okay.
Just ignore word. Just say which event took place around. Okay. What about you?
That is 1947.
Okay. 1947 Pakistan independence, right? What about you, Abdurrahman? What is your answer? Same answer?
Mm, I can say 90 in India and Pakistan
Okay.
independence. I can
Okay.
say.
Now remember this thing. This is wrong, right? When I ask you, or when I talk about 19th century, it
Yes.
means I'm talking about 1801
1899.
to 1899. 1800 to 1899. This is 19th century. And when I
Yes, sir.
start 1900 to 2000, actually
20th.
1999, it is
20th.
20th century. And when, right now we are in what? 2002, 2018. So right now we are in 21st century. Remember
sir.
this thing. This is a blunder many of the students make. Clear?
Yes, sir.
So now imagine 19th century, in 1800 something, a schoolgirl and a formal traveling salesperson turning this soap bar into 18 billion industry. Now, isn't it a dream? Okay, so now let's move forward to the third one. C. Virtual connections.
connection.
Virtual connections. Right. Can you read it? Which one?
4, sir.
Huh?
4, sir. Alan Parker outlined a research breakthrough in technology.
Achha. Okay. What about you,
It's the
Amjad?
one. C1. C relates to the one.
C relates to 1. Abdurrahman, what do you say?
Is
Yes, agreed. Now you see virtual connections. Right now, you and me are virtually connected.
Yes, sir.
yeah.
So connections means, you know, this is opposite of isolation actually.
Okay.
Okay. And virtual means social media. Okay. So
Yes,
both of
sir.
you are correct. Now creating young scientists.
This makes sense.
We are left with 3 and 4.
Okay.
D relates to 3.
3, yeah. Why? High schools means young. Role of science means scientist.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now we are
Creating relates to identifies two
yes,
current
yes,
trends.
true,
It
correct.
is a C.
Very right. So you need to use these clues and hints. Okay. Now I want to show you an advanced version of this. Okay.
Yes, sir.
And that will be our last exercise. Sorry, Abdurrahman, have you? What's time there? Do you have 5 minutes? Oh my God.
Yeah, so
Okay.
no problem, no problem.
Right. Now let's look onto this. Please ignore this part here. Now we exactly know this subheading was related to some of the headings. This subheading was related to some of the subheadings, and this subheading was related to them. This number 4 was extra, right? So I'm crossing it out. I'm striking it out, right? And then number 5. Now here you have to match the type of information with each of these subheading. What does this mean? I told you that heading alone does not give you any idea what does this heading mean. It is actually subheading that tells you the context of the heading, right?
Yes.
Similarly, this subheading tells you what type of information you will find or you can find in the passage.
Yes, sir.
I told you this thing in some, two slides back, right? Did you understand that? So it is
Yes,
subheading
sir.
that tells you about heading and that tells you about the content or type of information that we can find here in the passage. So we are done with relating subheading with the heading. We have done
Yes,
this
sir.
thing in the previous exercise. Now, through these subheadings, we will try to guess that what type of information we can have or we may have in the passage with these subheadings. Let me solve one thing for you, and then I will ask you to solve others. For example, if I ask you number 5 here, a historical
Yes, sir.
look at a successful business venture. Now, this historical look or description of this business venture, where you will find this kind of information, this type of information with this subheading, this subheading, this subheading, or this subheading. What do you think?
It's 5.
Number 5,
5, sir.
obviously
It's
we can find this type of information with this subheading, right?
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Now, please read number 4. Research linked to trends in weather patterns. Where or with which subheading we will find a passage which will contain something about research in the trends in weather patterns.
Sir, number 3, sir.
P.
Number two.
Read number two.
Number two.
Number two.
Two, yeah. Climate change.
Climatologists are assessing the impact of climate change. Changes in climate, changes in weather.
Yes.
Okay. Then
The weather.
read number three.
Discussion about the impact of technology
On society.
One.
This is related to obviously one.
One, sir.
Researchers. Now this is about society, you know, socially
Yes,
we
sir.
are isolated or connected something.
Yeah.
Number two, a description of a project in mountainous area.
Change.
Again number two actually. You can use
Yes,
it.
sir.
Okay, again number two. I have intentionally left 1 and 6. Now I want you guys to read number 6 first.
Argument presented
From
one
expert point of view.
Yeah. An argument presented from one expert's point of view. So will you find it here in number 1?
No, it's on 3 or 4.
Okay. If I say, I'm just to clarify your confusion. Actually, let me first create a confusion, right? Either it can be, you know, when I say expert, it means researchers are experts, climatologists
Yes.
are experts, and
Yes.
here we can, you know, ignore number 4. Here we have a name of an expert.
Yes.
But if you see, these are plurals, researchers. Here, these are climatologists.
Exactly.
And this is only one expert.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So here they have asked you from one expert's point of view
One
only,
for given, right?
right? So now
Right, sir.
we will go with 3.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Abdurrahman, are you getting it?
Yes, sir.
Now, for all of you, these are the tips and techniques that, you know, without improving your actual reading apprehension, you can use these techniques and, you know, shortcuts to get a better score.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now, one last thing and one last point is left, and that is about number 1. Arguments put forward by several different experts. Now, this is
Number
not
one.
one expert.
Yeah.
So, obviously, either it is
Different
researchers,
expert.
Yes.
or it is climatologists.
Yes, sir.
So now, how you will break this thing now?
The climatologists are only of one particular domain. They belong to climate, and researchers can be of any field.
Okay, but
The
even then,
question
they
here
are
is
experts.
different experts.
Mhm. Several different means
Sev-
number of words. Okay, fine. Okay, let me tell you. Can you tell me what these climatologists are doing? They are just observing something. They are sitting in the mountains
Yes, sir.
and they are just assessing. They're doing an assessment. Okay, temperature is going down, temperature is going up. You know, it's snow is melting, lakes are expanding,
Yes,
lakes
sir.
are squeezing. That's it. They are not giving any arguments. Whenever we agree or disagree,
Yes, sir.
we have to give arguments.
Yes, sir.
Got it?
Got it, sir.
So one relates to one actually.
Right.
Researchers
sir.
disagree means obviously when these researchers have a disagreement among each other. One researcher is saying something else, other is saying something else. So obviously,
Yes, sir.
whenever we will, anyone or any author who will try to explain the viewpoint of these researchers, he will explain their arguments. Okay, researcher A said this thing, and he provided these arguments. Researcher B said this thing, and she provided these arguments.
Yes, sir.
Clear? So today I just tried to introduce the format of the test, different, how to fill in the answer sheet. That was, if you are new to IELTS, obviously the filling in your names and other details becomes tricky. And I also told you
Yes, sir.
the features of a passage in which we talked about heading, subheading, footnote, explanation just after a difficult word, explanation around the difficult word.
Yes.
Okay. And I also told you that please
Okay, sir.
don't get scared of the difficult words. Then I taught you today in two exercises how to use different shortcuts or different clues or hints to get rid of your confusion about some answers.
Yes,
Sometimes
sir.
these can help you find right answer, and sometimes when you are confused about two answers, these clues can actually help you, right? So that's all
Yes.
for today's lesson. Amjad, you please stay back for a minute. I need to explain you this score, and rest